Alright, well, my name is Mike, and I've decided to start doing a whole series of reviews for movies, most likely wacky movies. So that's why I'm calling this the Wacky Movie Review. And well, the first movie I decided to review is one I actually just finished watching about 10 minutes ago. It's called the Tokyo Gore Police. Yes, please make all the conclusions you want to, but well, it's a Japanese film, of course. You can either have it in English, Japanese, with subtitles, of course, if you want them or not. It depends if you feel like reading a movie or not. But, well, first off, the way I'm gonna review this is I'm gonna do what I like about it, what I didn't like about it, and then what I thought was, and then just some moments that have to be explained. But anyway, first I'll start with what I did like. Okay, now it's on to what I didn't like. No, I'm kidding. Okay, what I actually did like about this movie was the soundtrack. It was very punkish, very new metal. It was amazing, even though the subtitles made every song sound like it was just a weird poem. But it was very nice, very nice. Another thing I liked was actually the story was really well done. Well, for the main character, who is that lady right there, her name in the movie is Ruka, and her father was the Tokyo police chief's right hand man. Only he didn't want the police to be privatized, which is owned by a company. Yes, so he was murdered, and that is what made her decide to become a cop. I think it was to avenge her father's death, I believe. And then, out of the blue, there seemed to be these class of super criminals called the engineers. They can, whenever they're wounded, whatever it is I don't know why, but sometimes it can seem just totally random. But when they're wounded, the wounds turn into weapons. So like in the beginning of the movie, for example, there's this one engineer who's he's barbecued this chick, he's eating her up, food and stuff, and he starts swinging a chainsaw around like he's Leatherface. The Tokyo police force come in, they shoot him, they blow his arm off. Out pops the chainsaw, and he pulls an Evil Dead. Well, and he thinks he's Ash for some reason, and starts swinging the chainsaw around. It's on a chain. It's actually got like a chain attached to the saw apparatus, and he's swinging it around and he's hitting people, cutting heads off. Got one guy around the mouth, and it goes like, yeah, and that's what I did like. Now for what I didn't like about it was this movie it tries too hard to be over the top. I mean, for one thing, I know for a fact there is nowhere near that much blood or blood pressure in the human body to when she cuts a guy's arms off and he's spraying all up in here, and it's all just blood spraying everywhere, and she's walking around, she has to wear an umbrella like it's raining. That is impossible. I don't care if you want to distend your if you want to dispel your belief on reality for this movie, I don't care. That's impossible on all levels. Same with flying around on fountains of blood. No matter how much adrenaline you pump into yourself, you would bleed out before you even got 2 inches off the ground. Yeah. That and this isn't what I didn't like, but onto some of the scenes that just have to be mentioned. Like in one scene in here, when this guy is walking into a fetish club, and he purchases one of the girls to have sex with, I guess, or something. Goes into the room, they start getting into it, and he looks into the mirror, and he sees that guy. Yeah, brain man right there. The guy who has 2 shotguns for eyeballs. Sees him in the mirror, and she decides to, yeah. Yeah. If you're thinking what I'm thinking, yeah. Ow. But so he's freaking out, there's blood spraying all over the place. It's like, what the? But he finally breaks out and grabs funnily enough, he had a MAC-10 right next to what she bit off. And grabs it, shoots her in half, and, well, after the guy was drilling into his ankle, so he's, like, crawling away. And then, when he gets out, she finds out she's an engineer. And her lower body, it becomes a crocodile head. And bites the arm off that's holding the gun. And bites his leg off. But he does get some measure of revenge. When he falls for the final time thinking he's going to die, he sees his severed arm there, and with his good arm, grabs it, puts it up like to defend himself, and she bites down on that arm instead, and its finger's still on the trigger. And lo and behold, the one nerve that controls the trigger finger is right there, and and all he says is, "Take this." And pretty much dead. I liked it. But then he gets turned into an engineer by, I guess he's called the Key Man, because he has all these key-shaped tumors, which is what makes an engineer an engineer. And yeah, so this guy, he's lost arm, leg, whang, and so he goes into the police department. He has, I guess it's either a spear or a sword here, some just growth there, and forgive me for being a little profane here, but penis cannon. A freaking penis cannon! It's like a shotgun! And so he goes about killing everybody in the police force until, of course, the commander shows up, and he's just awesome. So, of course, he's got to be the winner. And he kills him, boots the guy in the face. And then, actually, another thing that I should mention is that when this lady has her birthday, like because in the beginning of the movie it shows her birth, like she has them throwing her birthday party. So, of course, they're all like, they're all like, "We have an emergency! Come in! Help! And so she runs over, thinking there's like this whole problem going on. So she's got her sword out, and she's ready to kick ass. So she goes in, and she sees this dude with the devil horns, which is that dude right there, who turns out to be the commander. And that thing, which is actually his pet, if you can make that out. It's like a Slayer from the Suffering, like swords for limbs. And they're walking up to her, and then all of a sudden the lights go on, and you see him, and he just goes, "Happy birthday!" And then everybody else shows up, and they're all like throwing a party for him. Oh, and I'm not going to spoil the ending for you, but she loathes engineers in the beginning, and by the end she becomes one. This big lizard head here, eye, scope, mabob, there. And yeah, by the end it's pretty much the police force are pulling a... Would you call it an Operation Valkyrie? Maybe. They just start killing everybody who they even suspect as being a engineer. But yeah. So, all in all, I didn't mind this movie. I thought it was like, it's current, of course. Either it's like a year old, something. It's 109 minutes long. It's not rated. There's also a second disc, which kind of follows up to where the end of the first one goes. I haven't watched it yet. Probably not going to tonight. But anyway, yes. So, that's the end of my first Wacky movie review. So, comment, leave a question, suggest a movie for me to review next. Anyway, I am Mike, and I bid you a good night.